What is going on, everyone? I hope you are all having a fantastic day. So I and many others in the personal finance niche here on YouTube have talked endlessly about the Roth IRA and why that is, for many people, the best investing vehicle to get started with, especially when talking about long-term investing. And that's because the Roth IRA allows you to make post-tax contributions, meaning you pay the taxes now, and then that money is going to grow exponentially tax-free, and when you go to withdraw that money down the road, you don't have to pay any additional taxes, meaning that this is a really easy way to become a tax-free millionaire. But a lot of you probably already know that, so what is the best way to get started with this kind of account? And more specifically, where should you open your Roth IRA? Well, in today's video, I want to answer all of those questions, show you some of the best Roth IRA account options in 2021, and hopefully help you get on the track to becoming a tax-free millionaire as fast as possible. All right, let's jump right into it. So a while back, I did make a video explaining what a Roth IRA is and why it is such a great retirement vehicle, and while the quality of that video is probably horrible because I did make it a long time ago, the information is still pretty decent. So if you do want some clarification on what specifically a Roth IRA is, then definitely check out that video, but don't worry, I will brush up on the essential information in today's video as well. So in a nutshell, you have your Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, and the only difference is that a Roth IRA is post-tax and a traditional IRA is pre-tax. Now, I realize that that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to some of you, and that's okay, and all that this means is that with a Roth, you're paying the taxes today, and with a traditional IRA, you're paying the taxes down the road in the future when you withdraw that money. So, without boring you to death, paying the taxes now is better in a lot of situations because that allows your money to grow exponentially tax-free. And then when you go ahead and start withdrawing tons of money from your multi-million-dollar Roth IRA portfolio, you don't have to pay the taxes that someone making millions of dollars would have to pay. So, if that still doesn't make any sense at all, don't worry about it too much because I will explain it a little bit more at the end of the video. But let's talk about the best Roth IRA accounts in 2021. So my first suggestion is not actually a specific company or brokerage, but actually just to open a Roth IRA with the company that you currently have an investing account with. Now, if you currently don't have an investing account at all, then obviously this doesn't apply to you, but as I've talked about many times before, I am a big fan of keeping all of my finances as lumped together as I possibly can, which I realize is ironic coming from someone who has definitely opened like hundreds of different financial accounts just for the sake of reviewing them for you, but I do still try to keep my personal finances as neat and tidy as possible. So if you already have an existing investing account with some other company, then it might just be easiest to open a Roth IRA account with that company if that is something that they offer. For example, my first Roth IRA was actually with TD Ameritrade because I already had an individual investing account with TD Ameritrade. I was familiar with the platform, and it was just easier to have that account open with them and keep everything under that one platform. Now, since then, I have moved away from TD Ameritrade, but if you aren't too concerned about the user interface and the features, then opening an account with whatever company you already have a relationship with is probably the best option. Alright, but the first specific place that I would recommend opening your Roth IRA would actually be going directly through a company like Vanguard. You may have heard of Vanguard before, and that's because they are one of the largest index fund providers and investment advisors in the world, with over $7 trillion in assets under management currently. And while their user interface is definitely not the most modern and sleek looking, the fact is that they are the ones that actually are creating and managing the index funds and ETFs that a lot of these other platforms are purchasing on your behalf. And what that means is in some cases your fees might be a little bit lower, although that is not always the case. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about here because it's pretty cut and dry, but if you are just looking to get straight into the investment part of this and you really know exactly what you want to be buying and what ETFs and index funds are interesting to you, then going directly through a company like Vanguard, who actually creates and manages those index funds, might be the most simple option and affordable option as well. However, if you're like me and you actually care about the user interface and you want to have a better understanding of where your money is being invested and why, then the next place that I would recommend opening your Roth IRA is actually through SoFi. Big surprise, I know, but SoFi's retirement options are actually fairly robust, and not only do they offer Roth and traditional IRAs, but SEP IRAs as well, which could be a great option if you have a small business or side hustle, since that does have a significantly higher contribution limit each year. But SoFi has both active and automated investing, meaning you can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want to be, and not only do they have access to a ton of different index funds, ETFs, as well as their own ETFs that they made, but also crypto investing tools and other really unique investment options as well. Now, you probably don't need to hear me say this again, but SoFi's platform is really modern, incredibly well designed, and integrates wonderfully with all of the other financial tools that SoFi offers. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop solution for all of your finances where you can also open your Roth IRA, then I would definitely check out SoFi. Okay, but moving on from there, the next company is actually the place where I personally have my own Roth IRA, which I know is kind of strange considering I was just raving about SoFi and how having everything under one platform is fantastic, and you can do that with SoFi, but I was just looking for a more robust investing specific tool, and that's where Wealthfront comes in. Now, I've made several different videos talking about Wealthfront and what it is, but if you don't know, they are a fully automated investing platform that will build a catered portfolio for you based on a number of financial metrics and goals that you can input into the platform. And in my experience, this is by far the most advanced, easy-to-use robo-advisor that is currently available. And I know there are a ton of competitors like Betterment and Acorns and a ton of other platforms, and I can tell you that I have tried all of them, and I have not found a single platform that I like better than Wealthfront, and that is why I keep all of my long-term investments with Wealthfront and plan on keeping it there for as long as they are in business. So if you do want an in-depth look at what Wealthfront is and how they can help you reach your financial goals, then I'll be sure to link to all of my full review videos on Wealthfront down in the description. But Wealthfront has individual accounts, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, 401k rollovers, trust accounts, joint accounts, 529 college savings plans, and a ton of others, and they will diversify your money across not just US stocks, but foreign stocks, emerging markets, dividend stocks, municipal bonds, real estate, and other asset classes that I probably would never even think of investing in if it was not for Wealthfront. Plus, they also use really advanced tax loss harvesting strategies, and they will currently let you invest your first $5,000 for completely free. And after that, it's just a really low management fee that, in my opinion, is well worth it. So if you do want to check out Wealthfront and get your first $5,000 managed for free, then I'll be sure to leave a link down in the description below where you can claim that offer. Okay, so those are my platform-specific suggestions, but my last tip to you when it comes to the Roth IRA is actually to carefully consider whether or not this is the right retirement vehicle for you. Sometimes I think that a lot of people, especially here on YouTube, rave about the Roth IRA a little bit too much at times. And while, don't get me wrong, it is an incredibly powerful financial tool that is probably the right fit for like 70% of everyday investors, there are certainly situations where it is not the right investment vehicle. And if you don't choose the right investment vehicle, that could easily cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run just because of the different tax implications. Like I said, there's also traditional IRAs, which are right in certain situations, backdoor IRAs if you are a higher income individual, as well as more standard retirement options like a 401k, 403b, a pension plan depending on your line of work, and even something like a SEP IRA, which is similar to a 401k since it has a significantly higher contribution limit each year. So I know that that all sounded like a jumbled mess, so I would definitely suggest that you do your own research and maybe even talk to a CFP or tax professional and get some really good professional advice on what the best retirement vehicle is for you and your financial situation. But the good thing is that a lot of the platforms that I talked about today offer not only Roth IRAs, but other retirement vehicles as well. So once you figure out what the right tool is for you, then you can still use these really modern and easy to use platforms. So I would love to know what your favorite Roth IRA account currently is and why you feel that is the best fit for you and your long-term financial goals. As always, if you did get value out of this content and you want to help support me, the easiest way to do that is checking out some of my favorite financial tools down in the description below, many of which will give you some free money when you sign up, which we always love. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. And of course, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it so much. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.